Hello and welcome on this seventh Sunday of Easter, the Sunday after Ascension Day. One of the good things about restoring Ascension Day is that we now have this Sunday, this seventh Sunday of Easter, this Sunday between Ascension and Pentecost, an in-between Sunday, a Sunday when liturgically we are waiting for something to happen. I remember when I was a boy in the 1960s, 1970s, from time to time we'd have an elderly relative come and visit us from a far distant place, for example Maidstone or Reading, which took 3 hours in our Morris Minor. So when they were going home, they used to make this arrangement by which we would know that they were home safely. They would call on the telephone for 3 rings. Ring, ring, ring. And then that would be cut off. And that was enough to let us know that Great Uncle Charlie, or whoever it was home safe and well. And up to that particular point, my gran was always a little bit anxious, and after the 3 hours had elapsed, then the anxiety level would go up, or perhaps the phone call would come a little bit before, and there would be a conversation along the lines of, "They've made good time today, haven't they?" So that's one sort of example of waiting. Another one would be, goodness, yes, relatives emigrating to Australia. That was a big thing back then. And of course, off they would go, and a few weeks later we'd get a letter, or even better, a reel of tape to play on Uncle Stanley's Grundig tape recorder, which was always rather good as well. The signs that a person has left us who we know well, has gone away, and then we receive this sign that yes, they're away, but they are fine. And that's actually very important for us. And today, on this seventh Sunday of Easter, we find ourselves in that waiting state. The signal Jesus gave us was the coming of the Holy Spirit. This hasn't happened yet. We're waiting for the Holy Spirit. A period of anxious waiting. So, in the upper room, we have the disciples and Mary all sitting round, twiddling their thumbs? No. We hear that they are at prayer, constantly at prayer. We have, as it were, the church in embryo, in a state of active contemplation, until finally the coming of the Holy Spirit and the birth of the church. Today is something of a pregnant pause, if you will. And our state in this lockdown period is a bit similar. Some people have talked about an extended Lent. Yes, I understand that. But we're not exactly in a penitential state, are we? We're in a state of anxious waiting. Anxious because we know that there is a danger that it may all go wrong. Anxious in that there is a danger that we might catch this unpleasant disease. But there's a case of an anxious waiting, and waiting knowing that sooner or later this lockdown is going to be lifted, but we don't know quite when. And of course the churches are closed. And spiritually this makes life very difficult for us. We cannot enter into the fullness of our Christian life without corporate worship. You know, worship as a body, as a group of people, is at the very heart of our Christian faith. And so it does feel somewhat truncated. It does feel as if we're still waiting for something to happen, which of course we are. For just as the Holy Spirit came to breathe the life of the Spirit into the disciples, so with the lifting of the lockdown will bring about, hopefully, a resurgence in the life of the church. And I think the life of the church will be changed in some way. On a slightly different tack, I'd also like to mention this, and that is watching the mainstream media, the BBC, ITV and so on. If you watch them these past few weeks, you can't help but go away with the impression that the rest of the world has somehow or other ceased to exist. However, all manner of things are taking place. All manner of tragedy is somewhere or other unfolding. Luckily, CAFOD is very much at the forefront of doing good work here. So please follow the links which are to be shortly on this website, because we're hoping to set up a Just Giving page soon, so that we too can do our bit to help CAFOD in all the many good things it does around the world. In the meantime, my friends, keep safe, say your prayers and rejoice in anything that's good, beautiful and true. God bless you all. Goodbye.